Yeah, excited to get back to it. I thought our team had an excellent bye week, accomplished the things that we wanted to accomplish, not only working on ourselves in finding areas that we can improve, but also working on upcoming opponents. Really pleased with the way our players have responded. Had a great practice last night. Obviously, today is Toughness Tuesday, and we need to have another great day of work ahead of us. Tremendous matchup versus Oklahoma. Have a lot of respect for the history of that program and the coaches. I think they do an excellent job in all three phases. Obviously, Coach Venables and his defensive prowess is really good and excellent. I think he's done a tremendous job of changing the identity of that program and team to being a defensive football team. They really swarm to the football, a very aggressive attacking style, make it very difficult on offenses. Offensively, it looks like they found their rhythm. They've made a change at the offensive coordinator position, and you can see in the last two games continually getting better. Obviously, had a breakout game last weekend versus Maine. The quarterback's more and more comfortable. They've been able to establish the run and do a tremendous job there. So we'll absolutely have our hands full. Need to have another great day today of practice to continue to prepare. Really excited about the fans. Obviously, a night game sellout at Faroe Field is an awesome thing. I know the Hill tickets have already been sold out, and so looking forward to an awesome environment and atmosphere, and I can't wait to play at home underneath the lights of Faroe. I know y'all are going to ask me about injuries, and I'll welcome all the questions that you want to ask, and I'll always, or I will defer to that the injury report will be released tomorrow night as a competitive, I guess competitive equity within the SEC. So with that, ask away.
If
no, go ahead.
if you have to look somewhere other than Brady
Mhm.
quarterback, what's the plan this week?
Drew Pine.
What
Thanks.
were your conversations like with him after obviously a tough day at Alabama?
Yeah, hopefully it was a learning opportunity. I mean, we put him in some bad situations, and we've got to protect better. We got to establish the run better, and we can't turn the ball over. So, look, quarterback is not a position without errors, and we've all had tough days at that position, but we have confidence in Drew, and Drew's practiced well, and our team's behind him if that's what it needs to be. But that's definitely not been decided yet.
Coach, with Drew, you said just in the immediate aftermath of
Mhm.
the Alabama game that he had two options of kind of curl into a ball or go back and get better. Just what kind of mentality have you seen from him the last 2 weeks?
I think that's all of us. We can either choose to be victims or be relentless in our pursuit of being a better football team. And Drew's been relentless, being dedicated to his goals. When you face setbacks, finding ways to respond and grow from them, develop toughness, and be determined to meet the standard. And I think not only Drew, but JR, Brady, offensive line, running backs, wide receivers, defensive players, I think all of us have chosen we're going to be relentless and continue to improve as a football team.
Eli, left guard, is that a position you still expect to see rotation at, or did Mitch kind of take that over?
No, on Tuesday, it showed up in the injury report. Caden got rolled up and just, he tried to go. Everybody was trying to give it everything it could to go in the game, but was banged up and really couldn't drive off of it. So it was an injury decision. He's trending back in the right direction, but would still be classified tomorrow night on the injury report, and we'll see who's the best available option on Saturday.
Eli, when you look at Oklahoma, what stands out about the Sooners on the team on both sides?
Yeah, I mean, offensively, I think Jackson Arnold's a dynamic quarterback. He's got a really quick release, accurate, does a really good job scrambling. His running ability, that they've tried to utilize him as a +1 hat in the run game. They do a lot of read game stuff with him, and he's been impressive in that, different than what they were kind of doing before. Wide receiver, obviously, J.J. Hester, a guy that we know well here, has really stand out for them and coming into his own his senior year, so excited and happy for him. They have a really good running back. They've got several running backs. I know they've been injured at that position, but Javante Barnes has really played really well, and I think he's a really good downhill SEC back. On the defensive side of the ball, I mean, obviously their Mike linebacker is an outstanding player, and their defensive line, I think, Mason Thomas has been a guy that really steps up and stands out on tape. They have a lot of movement and a lot of different blitz patterns, so it's hard to kind of get a beat on how exactly you can't ever predict what they're going to be in. So the multiplicity of the defense is challenging.
When you look at the history of this game here at Mizzou, is that something you guys ever talk about? The history of this kind of, I guess you call it a rivalry between Sooners and Titans.
We're aware of it. Every time we introduce a team, we talk about how many times we've played and what that season history is. And we realize there's been a few matchups here in the past, whether it's Big 8 or Big 12. So we're aware of it.
You mentioned already Caden and JJ on the other side. I know it's not as unusual as it used to be, but when you go into a week where somebody's playing his former team, is there a way you handle that, or is that just a case-by-case basis depending on who the kid is?
Yeah, we really don't do much different. I think it's kind of a norm of college athletics now that there's potential crossover, and we've faced that really for the last 3 years now within the league. Different players on different teams, so there's nothing new that really goes into it.
Coach, Oklahoma gives the most sacks per game in the country, with quite a few pressures allowed. So when you hear those numbers, how do you guys kind of balance being aggressive but not being overly aggressive to where you give up a big play?
Yeah, I mean, you got to defend the play that they run, so it's not like you know when it's going to be run or pass, and you can decide what you got to do. We got to stop the run first, in my opinion. I think that the difference in their past 2 games is their willingness to try to establish the run game and then have plays off of it. And so for us, it's going to be about stopping the run first and then reacting to the pass. And obviously the weather potential kind of changes the way all of that plays out.
Coach, you mentioned looking at future opponents during the bye week. Is there any self-scouting component that you're doing at this stage of the year, and what did that look like if it's something that took place during the bye?
Yeah, we absolutely self-scout. We self-scout every Sunday night, but this one was an ability for us to get a little bit more in depth on both sides of the ball and kind of identify maybe some patterns in people attacking us or us being attacked on both sides of the ball, and I would say it was very productive.
I think you got a couple freshmen that are both right kind of at that 4-game mark with Williams and Lacey. Where do those guys stand? Is it, do you lean one way or the other about wanting to keep that year in the last 4 weeks?
No, we're at the point in the season where we're playing to win the game, and if those guys are called upon to play to win the game, both of them are in the rotation. Depth chart, I would anticipate that both of them play this week, so I'm not worried about that part of it.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, Brady Cook, he talked about how much Mizzou means to him, how much having these extra couple games when he came back from the hospital means to him. How has he kind of been taking his injury so far? And you mentioned that he would come back his fight to get that kind of football field.
Yeah, he's done everything in his power to prepare himself to play, and you would expect nothing less from him. And been great energy in the building. Been attacking the rehab, been attacking the game plan. So typical Brady Cook preparation and leadership.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the easy one.